Welcome to the Darkstream. VoxDay, voxday.blogspot.com, and Infogalactic. Just did a 2.5, 3-hour interview with Rolling Stone today. Mostly talked about Castalia House and Infogalactic. I think it went well. The reporter mostly asked reasonable and intelligent questions, and was obviously familiar with some of our books, which is good. So it was interesting. I think that, as you know, the piece is not going to run until probably early in the year, but I think that Castalia is going to increasingly become, they're going to be increasingly taking note of it because of what they're seeing in terms of the more and more people buying the books and that sort of thing. In terms of whether I think I'm cool because I use the term cuck, no, I think I'm cool because I'm a platinum selling game designer and because I am a 3-time Billboard dance chart top 40 recording artist. Those things are both pretty cool. So, anyhow, we've talked about the interview thing. I'm not, every interview has to be considered. Once you get to a certain point, every interview has to be considered on its own merits. And so, my initial instinct was to not do it because I turned down media requests normally. And so, in this particular case, I was advised by Mike Cernovich to do it because of the platform, B, the subject. We talked a little bit about the alt-right, but not very much. I mean, that was not the focus of it. In fact, the reporter concluded that to call us an alt-right publishing house was not really quite accurate because of the broad spectrum of authors that we publish. We definitely publish alt-right authors. We may be the dominant one. But that's not all we are. Would I challenge Justin Trudeau to a boxing match? I wouldn't challenge him to it, but if he challenged me, I'd certainly be up for it. I spent 6 years doing martial arts, very heavy contact, fought in the ring several times, so I'm certainly not unfamiliar. Justin Trudeau isn't even close to my league. I'm a former NCAA Division I sprinter. He wouldn't even see it coming. But anyhow, I don't know what this whole Trudeau thing is. I've been busy. I have not paid any attention whatsoever to that sort of thing. Anyhow, what is a I don't know what cashing out super hearts means. As far as what a cuck is obviously someone who considers themselves a conservative, but they are disloyal to their country on grounds of immigration and so forth. So, they value, they enjoy putting the interests of foreigners ahead of their co-nationals. But let's talk about the biggest problem for the Trump administration right now is the Republicans. The the biggest problem they have with, the Democrats are not an issue. The Democrats are imploding in multiple ways. And so if you look at their latest thing, now they're going to go to cultural war with the Republicans on the grounds of transgenders in the military. Now this is so incompetent, it is borderline insane. It is absolutely nuts. And so, and then when you combine that with what's going on with the DNC, the arrest of the DNC employee, the Pakistani who has gotten all kinds of access to all kinds of information about various representatives and the DNC. The Democratic Party is in serious bad condition. And so, and yet, Trump is unable to see his supposed allies in the House and Senate. Republicans control the House. Republicans control the Senate. Republicans hold the White House. They also more or less control the Supreme Court. And yet, they're unable to do anything. The same people who voted against Obamacare are now voting for it. And so, the reason is because they don't want to do anything. The only reason they were voting against Obamacare is because they wanted to win re-election, but they didn't actually want to change anything. Exactly, it was a safe vote. And it was even Eric Cantor, who used to be the Speaker of the House, even admitted that they had no intention of actually changing anything. And so, so what I think Trump needs to do is he needs to start running against the Republicans in the House and in the Senate. Now Majority Leader, not Speaker of the House. There's the Majority Leader. Anyhow, so the problem is that what we have in Washington is something that I described very clearly long ago, 10 years ago, is, we have a bifactional ruling party. The Democrats and the Republicans are two different factions of the same party. Trump, on the other hand, is an outsider. He's not a part of that ruling party. And that, of course, is why both Democrats and Republicans, in terms of the establishment, have been so opposed to him. Now, Trump, people said, well, Trump's already doing it. No, he's not. He has not been directly attacking them. He has not been encouraging people to run against them. But the thing is, he might as well. At this point, he might as well, because it is entirely obvious that the House Republicans and the Senate Republicans are not going to follow his lead. And so it is incumbent upon him to force that choice upon them. Now, some are simply not going to. Some like John McCain and the woman from Alaska and the other woman from Maine, they are not going to come over in it because they're basically, Murkowski, they are basically Democrats dressed up like Republicans. But if he makes an example of one or two of them, if he starts endorsing those running against him, then he is going to do very well. The only way but the thing is that he's going to have to get over the problem that Jeff Sessions is exhibiting, the whole Senate collegiality thing, the whole we need to get along and govern together and all this sort of thing. No, what they need to do is they need to follow the lead of the man that the American people selected as president against the wishes of both establishments, both factional establishments. He needs to be willing to go to war against his own party. And so he's got to take out the Cucks. And he's got to force all the conservatives to choose. He doesn't fire Sessions because there's no reason to fire Sessions. Sessions has been weak and has not been as effective as we'd like, but he hasn't been completely ineffective, and he hasn't been disloyal. Now, I do think that he needs to get rid of Reince Priebus, and I think that he will. And so I would like to see him unleash Bannon. I would like to see him, basically telling Sessions, look, immigration and Clinton investigation, that's it. That's it. Nothing else matters. Now, the other thing that you need to keep in mind and that you need to be calm about is something that I predicted. Trump has not cucked at all. Trump has been the best president the U.S. has had since Calvin Coolidge. There's a lot of stuff that Trump has been doing that the media doesn't cover, and those of you who only pay attention to CNN and Fox News or whatever, you have no idea. You have no idea how significant some of the things he's doing. The panic in the media is indicative of this. And so, but the problem is that he doesn't have enough good people around him. And I think that that's the other thing that Trump has to do, is he has to stop worrying about, hiring these experienced, long-time Washington hands, blah, blah, blah. What he should do is he should bring in, he needs to bring in the killers. If you read Band of Brothers, one of the things that Dick Winters writes about is how he relied very heavily on certain people in the company that he called his killers. And the other soldiers were good men, but these were the guys who were simply willing to do what needed to be done, and they didn't hesitate. And so, yes, people like Bannon, people like Ann Coulter, people like Cernovich, it looks, the initial indications that this guy Scaramucci might be one of them. He certainly doesn't seem to have hesitated to go directly after the chief of staff. And so that's what he needs. He needs people that are not afraid of the media going, oh no, somebody said something bad to this person, and that means the Trump administration is completely out of control. No, Rand and Ron Paul are totally hopeless. Huckabee is not good enough. He's not strong enough. Those guys are weak. I appreciate Ron Paul greatly. Ron Paul is a great man. But Ron Paul is not a fighter. Ron Paul wants to reason with you, and he wants you to understand things, and he's going to teach you, and he's going to stand up for the right things, and he will never, ever punch anybody in the mouth. He is never going to finish anyone. You need the killers. You need the fighters. Okay? You don't need people who are going to get all noble and principled and refuse to actually take on the enemy. And so, let's talk about it. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of ridiculous. Yeah, and also, Ron Paul made a huge mistake on Trump. Huge mistake on Trump. He should have been supporting Trump 100%. But now, something else that you need to keep in mind is that I told you after the election, but long before the inauguration, the Trump administration is going to have more turnover than any administration before it. Because Trump is not going to allow people to fail him too many times. Sessions blew it on recusing himself from the Russian investigation. And he also blew it on this whole, drug war thing. Nobody gives a damn about the drug war. Why are you babbling about the drug war? That's not what you got elected for. Now, Sessions is very good on immigration, and he's doing a great job on immigration so far. So that's why I don't think he's going to be fired anytime real soon. But he needs to focus. Why is it important? Because it's got the Department of Justice focusing on the Russian investigation instead of all of the investigations that need to be done, like, for example, the DNC and this Pakistani who was just arrested and so forth. That kind of stuff should be a lot farther along than it is now. And so, everything from cracking down on Antifa and taking down the various pedophiles and all that sort of stuff. They're draining the swamp, etc., etc. These things have to be done. They have to be the priority. Stop messing around with stuff that isn't important. Stop messing around with stuff that is not a big deal. Because he can't admit that he is financially tied to something when he's not. It's ridiculous. The whole Russian thing is total nonsense. We already know this. We already know where it came from. It came from the DNC. It doesn't exist. They have even already admitted that WikiLeaks doesn't have anything to do. Hang on, I'm going to get rid of that troll. They've already admitted that WikiLeaks has nothing to do with the Russians. There's no there there. Because why not release his financials and move on? Because you never give them anything. If he gives them that, then they'll come up with something else to, You act like the game is legitimate or fair. It's not. So giving them something is simply going to, yes, I do actually block, no, I actually just block people who ask me stupid questions. I like I like these guys. Oh, but you're blocking people. I don't give a fuck if you watch this or not. I'm not here to talk with you. I'm here to talk to people that want to hear what I have to say. You want to come and try to do a debate and everything? This is not the medium for that. Okay? Go away. If you want, you want to try to troll and you want to try to distract, you want to try to push things off. I mean, you're welcome to try. And you'll be blocked and you'll never see another Periscope of mine again. So, go away. Anyhow, and no, nobody has to agree with me. I don't give a damn if no one agrees with me. The point is, I'm not putting up with stupid questions and irrelevant questions and attempts to derail. I've been a nationally syndicated columnist 3 times. I've had my blog for 14 years. I have seen and dealt with trolls like you for over a decade. So, you all your little like rhetoric and this and that and the other thing, it's not gonna work. So anyhow, to get back to the Trump issue, it's a difficult thing for somebody like Trump, who is fundamentally a negotiator, to go into shoot first mode. But he has to do that now. He has tried negotiating. He has tried being reasonable. He has tried leading by example. None of these things work. What will work is putting the fear of the God Emperor into that. No, you're wrong. You can tell it's a woman. I just think we need to get to the agenda and not this in-house fighting. The in-house fighting is why you can't get to the agenda. This is not rocket science. You can't do the agenda while your own side is blocking you. So you have to blow them out. The Cucks are mostly never Trump. And so oops, wrong one. There we go. There is no way. Okay, I don't need to do anything. There is no way that he's going to be able to do what he wants to do. No. No, your own thoughts are stupid is the problem. You don't understand cause and effect. Okay? I mean, just saying this kind of, this sort of, if you just really need to do this, you're wrong. You're just flat out wrong. What do you think he has been trying to do? He can't get to his agenda because people who are supposed to be on his team are obstructing him. So you have to get rid of the instructions, or the obstructions. Otherwise, you will continue to get nothing done. The media, which is not quite true, Trump is actually getting quite a bit done. But the point is that he is being obstructed on every single side. And so what he needs to do is bring in people like this Scaramucci guy. He needs to unleash his killers, and he needs to clear them out so that he can move on with the agenda. Now, the reason why can't people see this? Because they don't want to. There is nothing that people in general, and women in particular, love to do more than to criticize somebody for being mean. The amazing thing, I'll give you an example. With rabid puppies, literally the day after we cleaned up the Hugo Award nominations, we took something like 59 out of the 80 nominations. And one of the women, I'll never forget this, one of the women who was on our side, who had nothing whatsoever to do with the victory that we had won. The victory was the direct result of being ruthless and aggressively playing hardball in a way that nobody ever had before. And the very first thing they said was, the important thing now that we've won is to do it with grace and style. And I was so infuriated by that. So infuriated by that. You didn't win that way. You didn't win that way. If we had done that, we would have lost. Now that we've won by playing hardball, now you want to but now let's make nice to the people. No. What do you do? Here, think about this. When you're in a battle and the enemy line breaks, what do you do? What do you do? No, by hardball I mean not cheating. I mean playing by the rules completely. You send in the cavalry to turn their break into a complete rout, to turn the retreat into a rout, and then you drive them away. Okay, and so and this is the problem. Okay, let's get rid of this idiot. This is the problem. No, don't you think he needs to bend a little to get the Senate back in his good graces? Absolutely not. You have it backwards. He needs to hit them directly. He hasn't really done that. He's criticized them. He hasn't said, either you get on board or you get on board with them. You don't get to play this game of, well, we're on your side, but we don't like the way you're doing it. So we're gonna try to slow you down and that sort of thing. And that's correct. This is the difference between the alt-right and the conservatives. If you're a fighter, you're not a conservative. If you're a killer, you're not a conservative. You need to accept the fact that you are part of the alt-right, whether you realize it or not. Because the conservatives and the cuckservatives and the neocons are eventually going to merge with the left. That's their fate. That's what they will do. Because they are not ultimately interested in winning. They want to lose with grace and style. They want to lose and go down to noble defeat. And so, anyhow, I think it's important to continue to support the God Emperor. Tweet your support at him. He pays attention to that. We know he pays attention to that. When people, do their whole snide remarks about Trump and stuff, don't do the thing where you're like, well, I don't agree with everything that he does. Don't do the counter signaling. When someone asks me about Trump, even though I'm not always happy about the things that he did, when they say, what do you think about Trump? I was asked that today. What do you think about Trump? I said, he is already the best president since Calvin Coolidge. He will win re-election if he builds the law, or if he builds the wall. How do we break the morale of the left? We keep hammering at them. Remorselessly, relentlessly, every day. And so, it's true. And like you said, he is more conservative than Reagan. That's a great meme. I got to do a meme. We got to put him up on Rushmore. Yeah, or that's also. Well, Coolidge was just one of the greatest presidents we've ever had. If you look at what he did, and basically he turned over an America. Let me go into more detail on that sometime, because obviously it's something that a lot of people don't know very much about. So anyhow, so keep pushing. Read the back of the shirt. Are you tired yet? No, we're still not tired. So we keep pushing, we keep hammering, we keep supporting the God Emperor, and we keep winning. That's what we do. Have a good evening. See you on the blog.